So, time to address this whole Eboni Williams situation. Um, Young lady, 39 years old, should be 40 September 9th. She had a discussion with Iyanla Vanzant, um, older woman. And I went back and I watched the whole interview because by now I'm sure, everyone has seen the viral clip about the bus driver. So I went back and I watched the whole clip, what I believe to be the whole clip. I'm sure it was edited in some way, but it was about 23 minutes long. And I watched the interaction between the two. And it was about being masculine versus feminine energy. There were several things that were addressed throughout the discussion interview that the two were having. So, firstly, in the first interaction, you see her, you see Iyanla asks Eboni Williams, would she date a bus driver? And she replies by saying, if he owns the bus.
Not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver.
And that's the viral clip that's going around now. My whole thing, if you watch that entire interview, in that response, in that interaction, she never once specifically states that, oh, if it's a black man. I don't know how this became it being about black men. Sorry about that. But like I was saying, I don't know how it became about black men all of a sudden. Her last relationship, Eboni Williams, 39-year-old, she was dating a white man named Stephen Glenn. He's 53 years of age. And she spoke about this on the Eboni Williams show during COVID. She spoke about, and it's during COVID because even on the Eboni Williams show, she has like audience members on Zoom.
I think like a lot of couples, Wendy, it made us tell the truth about our relationship.
How long were you with him before quarantine?
Almost 4 years.
Did you live with him at the time of quarantine?
I'll tell you what happened. He actually did not quarantine with me. He has 3 children, 2 of which are young adults, and he chose to quarantine in New Jersey with his semi-adult children. And for me, listen, I'm not a parent yet, so I get that they're number one.
Right.
But I need to be number one.
But during COVID, a man that she had dated for 4 years was her fiance. They broke up because he didn't even quarantine with her. He went to quarantine with his children, who were ages 21, 18, and 14. In a time of life or death, he chose to abandon you and go stay with his children. Now, I find it interesting that she says she needs to be first. How do you expect to become before man's children? Even if you were the mother to his children, why would he put you before his children? I don't get that. Maybe that's just me, but I don't get that. Like, in parenthood, I would think that your children come first. In the times of life or death, you want to make sure your children are good first, always. So I find it very narcissistic of her. Like, just thinking about yourself, talking about you need to come first. When COVID hit and he's worried about the well-being of his children. That's crazy. But the fact that you dated that white man, Stephen Glenn, now you want to flip it and talk about black men and hiring the bar and the standards for black men to not just be a bus driver, but to push to owning the bus.
1,000+ comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time. So I believe nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
How can you say that? Don't talk to just black men now when you don't date just black men. You would have some validity to what you're saying if you dated only black men. But when was the last time you dated a black man? Like, when's the last time you were in a relationship with a black man? All right? 3 years ago, COVID hit. Things shut down in New York, March 12th, 2020. I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, so that's when we shut down school and, we went to teaching from home. So 3 years ago, you were 36 years of age. This woman was 36 years of age, and she was in a relationship with a man who's 50. A white man who's 50, had 3 kids. She had no problem being in that relationship for 4 years. Nearly 4 years, that's according to her own words, with no ring. And it's because he's successful. He had millions of dollars. But he didn't love you. So, what is it you want? Now, I think I covered that point. The main point here is, don't speak to only black men when you don't date only black men. Don't try to act all pro-black now when you don't date only black men. You have no point there. To continue, in one clip in the full discussion that she had, you see her speaking to the new generation being raising men in dresses, like women becoming men in skirts. And
women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog, and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today, because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Ayanla. I do think that, I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to do in my life, 2 things come top of mind, and they are provide and they are protect. And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, I've had some relationships, and I've yet to find a man who has shown, this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, Ayanla, is be without. Baby, it's not happening.
Be without what?
So that
be
would
without what?
Be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say that with an invitation, Ayanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it, because I might be.
Another thing that I feel is important to note, if you watch the full interview, Eboni Williams mentions growing up in a single parent household. She's never had a father, a figure be there, a man be there to protect and provide for her, not even her own father. So her mother was a single parent. She never got to see her mother be a wife. She never got to see the masculine energy complement the feminine energy and the feminine energy complement the masculine energy. She grew up around a mother who raised her to be masculine. Like, go be strong, go be independent. And that's what a lot of these women end up being. These strong independent women end up being strong and independent. Because what comes with it, a lot of them just know how to be strong and independent, and they don't know how to be strong, independent, and feminine. Nothing is wrong with a woman being strong and independent, but you still have to know how to be feminine. Any men, masculine men, alphas, we do not want to be with women who are combative and always argumentative. And that's what she is. She's 39 years of age. She's a top 1% earner. She has multi-millions of dollars as her net worth. And at 39 years of age, she's not looking for, a man that can make just $65,000, $75,000 a year. She still wants a man to protect and provide for her. Think about that. So she still wants a man to protect and provide for her, even though she's already successful in her own right.
But we think that it's another human being's responsibility to give us what we need instead of us building together. I can build with a bus driver. I'd have my little stash over on the side in my prenup, but I could build with a bus driver. So I think some of the criteria that we look for in the reality of today keeps us unhappy, keeps us angry, keeps us imbalance. And then when the men show up, we want to beat them up because they're not living up to our standards and criteria. And it's not working, beloved. It's just not working. So it's not that it's bad or wrong. It's obsolete. It's obsolete. We have to come up with a new way of being. I don't believe in carrying a man. A man has to do for himself. My son got his first job when he was 9. 9. Okay, because you're a black man, you will know how to take care of yourself. But I think the way we measure it, it's just obsolete.
I think that's a factual analysis. For whatever we want, expect, we're told we were going to get, we got to look at the numbers and what's available on the marketplace. So you're certainly not wrong in the analysis. And Yana, let's.
That's what I don't get. She brought up black women going to school, getting these terminal degrees, becoming JDs, MDs, PhDs, and all of these things, become successful, getting that income. But what do you want? This is what proves that Kevin Samuels was right. These women get so focused on their career and they become successful, and then they don't know how to live in their feminine energy. They still want the traditional roles of the man being the provider, the protector, but they're not willing to submit to even a successful man. Because what they're going to say is, what they think is, oh, I'm successful in my own right. I have millions of dollars, or I have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I make $200,000 a year. I make $500,000 a year. I make $1 million. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you want. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. I don't have to do X, Y, Z. You're not going to get the man that you want, because the man that you want, he has options. With his millions of dollars and him building himself up to be a success, he can go get a woman who's going to be feminine. He doesn't have to deal with the combative nature, the masculine energy, and everything that you're going to bring now that you feel special because you got your whatever degree and you have your income. This is what Kevin Samuels was saying. All right? So I'm not mad at her for wanting a man who owns the bus. But you have to understand something. You're talking about a top 1%. What are you going to do to keep that man? This lady is 39 years of age and she's single. Beautiful woman physically. And single. Almost 40. She said it herself. She'll be 40 September 9th. And she's single. because she's dealing in her masculine energies written all over her. It exudes, it comes from her. A man is still a man at the end of the day. If you're laying in bed with your man and someone breaks in the house, you want that man to go check. So he still has to pay the ultimate price. He still has to die for you. That's the ultimate sign of love. Someone willing to lay down their life for yours. And you would want your man to do that. So at the end of the day, even if that bus driver only makes $50,000 a year, he's still going to protect you. He would at least do that much. He can at least offer you companionship. If the toilet is broke, he can fix it. If some electrical wiring is loose, he can fix it. These men who do these jobs, the difficult jobs, the construction work, the plumbing, the electricians, those are men who are showing up, and they are essential. We need them. So even with a man making $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, he still deserves respect. She could never respect a man making that much. Even if she got with a man making that much money, she would never look at him and respect him like a man who makes $150,000, $200,000 a year or more. And that was the main point Kevin Samuels was saying. If you find a man who's 39 years of age and he has millions of dollars, or he makes $200,000 a year, he doesn't care if a woman owns the bus. That's the difference between men and women. I would date a woman who's a bus driver. I make over 6 figures a year, and I would date a woman who's a bus driver. I would date a woman who works at a retail store, because I want to be the protector and the provider. And this is what Kevin Samuels used to do. He would ask the woman, when you get pregnant, do you want to have to work to pay significant bills? And they all would say no. As a man, I want to work to have to pay significant bills. When I have children, obviously I'm not going to carry them for 9 months and have to deal with postpartum, but I want to have to work to pay significant bills. I want to take care of my family. That's the difference between men and women. You get the vast majority of men. Do you want to have to work to take care of your family and pay significant bills? Yes. You get the vast majority of women. Do you want to have to work? The word want. Not, oh, I will. Oh, yeah, if they need me to. No, I want to. I want to be the chief provider for my family. If I'm not the only provider, I want to be the main source. I want my wife to have to do as little as possible and be at home taking care of our kids. She's 39 years of age, successful financially, and still is looking for a man on her level financially. So you want to get a man who's the top 1% earners, who is going to provide for you, protect you, and still be in a monogamous relationship and just be perfect. It's like you looking for perfection. You have to choose. Do you want love, or do you want this man who has all of this success and power? Choose. And that was the example that she gave her. She said, I will, the older lady told her, I will take a bus driver who treats me well and who loves his mom and treats me with respect. All of these things. She's telling her other things that mean more to her than finances. This Eboni Williams, she flips it and talking about holding black men to a higher standard, and how, they were probably the ones who brought home C's and D's. And how is this just about black men when you don't date only black men? That's where I'm confused. So, I don't know. I understand her point of your preference is your preference. If you went to school and you have the success and you want all of this, but understand what you're asking for is a tall order. And now at 39, I understand she, I think in one of her interviews, she said she froze her eggs. This is what women are doing now. You have to make a sacrifice. They're getting y'all in your masculine energy to go out and get all of these degrees and become successful and get a job. But it's taking you away from your feminine energy as a female, as a woman, to be nurturing and caring and submissive and all of these things that men look for in a wife. So it's taking you away from being wifey material at the end of the day. So I don't know, it could be just me, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Peace.